I have been a huge Scream fan for the vast majority of my life. I love this damn franchise with all my heart, and so it really does break my heart to say this. This movie is bad. Super bad. At first, it really grew on me the second time I saw it. Let's get into it. Scream 5 and 6 really were something special. We most definitely took them for granted. I seriously did not realize how good of a job Radio Silence did with Scream until I saw 7. Scream 6 was kind of divisive within the fan base, but I still think back to March of 2023 and think, damn, that was a good film. Scream 6 just had so many layers to it that made it so great. It literally felt like peak Scream. The improved cinematography, the setting, the kills, the new masks, the writing, literally almost everything about it was improved from Scream 5, and I really liked Scream 5. On the other hand, it felt like Scream 6 dug itself into a hole. There was simply no way to one-up it. It was literally peak Scream. Even if Scream 7 did have the core 4 and Radio Silence working on it, or in it, whatever, there was no way they could have done more with Scream 7 than they did with Scream 6 without it collapsing in on itself from the weight. And that's literally exactly what happened with Scream 7. There's not a single doubt in my mind that Scream 7 is the worst Scream movie of all time. There was just a whole lot to unpack here. As always, no spoilers, no sponsors, and only my uncensored opinion will be in this review. The opening is too short and way too long all at the same time. It's not really boring, but something about it made me feel like it was 40 minutes long. It has no impact at all. We've seen way too much of the Mocker House before in the franchise for literally anything taking place in it now to have any sort of relevance or to feel fresh or improved to literally anyone at all. The Mocker House is outplayed. It is very stale and fucking bland. It has no significance to the rest of the film whatsoever, this opening, and it feels like nothing but a fat waste of time and effort. Scott and Madison, who are the two people who die in the opening, which is actually kind of a spoiler, but not really, are super one-dimensional and they have no flavor. No seasoning at all. Why exactly did they have to go back to Woodsboro? Hollywood is totally fucking out of ideas. A simple blonde girl alone at home in the middle of the night gets slaughtered in bloody homicide just like Scream 5, 4, 3, and 1 would have been pivotably better. Even if it didn't really break any new ground, it still would have been so much better than what we have here. McKenna Grace, who is actually in Scream 7, we'll talk about that later, she would have been better as the opening kill, but you know, that's not the way it is. Luckily, the title card is actually really fucking cool. It's much better than the Scream 6 title card, and it made me pretty excited, honestly. It's pretty rad. Directly after that hot mess of an opening, we're introduced to Sydney's daughter, Tatum, which is, you know, a little weird or whatever, but it's cute. I went into the theater for my first screening fully excited to hate on her. I was fully expecting to dislike her. I was looking forward to, well, talking shit. However, I was wrong. She's probably the best thing about Scream 7. Tatum is, at least in my opinion, a lot more accurate to how a real 17-year-old would react to a Scream movie happening in real life. I think a lot of people, especially the die-hard fans, are going to call her a clingy, crybaby, Mary Sue softie, but I really appreciate how they made her different, very different than Sid and Sam. For starters, she's not cold at all. She gets very mushy throughout the film and is reluctant to hurt literally anybody, even if it's someone who will gut her if she doesn't. Tatum hides behind her mom and relies on her for protection during tense moments, just like a real kid would in real life. See, now this touched me because it's a vast contrast to any of the other main characters who we've had in the entire franchise beforehand. Sydney, Emma, she's from the TV series, Dion, he's from the TV series, and Sam, obviously from 5 and 6, have always seemed a little hardened and unrealistic to me. No disrespect to Sydney, of course, that's kind of like, I think that's vaguely the point of her character after the original, but that's a whole nother talking point. The truth is, these people being targeted by murderous psychopaths are actually just overgrown kids. They're still teenagers. They're, you know, they're not adults. Their brains still aren't fully developed, and by extension, they can't handle the reality of their lives being threatened fully. These teenagers who are about to be killed will cry, falter, and generally freak out. Tatum does all of this while still somehow seeming brave, if that makes any sense. She's simultaneously scared, but also acting despite that fear, which is what bravery is. She is called Tay by her friends, which I think is a good way to tell her apart from the other Tatum from the original by people who might be reading like the cast or something. I don't fucking know. Do I like Tatum more than Sam? I'm gonna go ahead and hit you with the reluctant yes. Listen. Tatum is just so realistic to me. I don't know why. Maybe it's the way she argues with Sydney. I mean, it's just a lot more entertaining to me and a lot less fan fiction-esque than Sam was in 5 and 6. I always thought the whole illegitimate daughter of Billy Loomis thing was super convoluted and pointless with Sam in 5 and 6, so I was really refreshed when Tatum didn't have any of that like extra baggage in 7. It's simple. She's just Sid's daughter. I also really appreciated the small little social anxiety plot that they had in this film about Tatum being shy, meek, and a little anxious. Even though they kind of only bring it up once or twice and then completely abandon it, I still thought it was cool because I myself am socially anxious, so it's not only relatable, but I wish they leaned into it more and, you know, actually included it more in the film, but they didn't. Tatum also seems to be genuinely emotionally impacted by the kills. Ghostface in Scream 7 isn't necessarily targeting Tatum in the conventional sense. I don't think the killer actually cares whether or not Tatum lives or dies. I think this plays into the motive, so this might be a mild spoiler. I'm not sure because the killer's motive actually doesn't make any sense. We'll talk about that later. But there are many times when the ghost gets his hands on Tatum and he can totally, very easily just open her belly up with the knife or literally just tear her in half. He can very easily kill her, and he doesn't. He just doesn't. He just kind of stands there, and it makes me wonder. The killer getting so close to killing Tatum this many times only makes it feel like sort of like Sydney isn't really doing her job, which is disrespectful to the character because that would never be the case. And for me, it only increases the general authenticity of Tatum's character to me because it makes it feel like she doesn't have plot armor, you know what I mean? Knowing wholeheartedly that the Scream franchise would totally kill Sid's daughter, just knock her off in the middle of the film to shock the audience, and seeing her dodge the knife by an inch every 4 seconds really kept me on the edge of my seat because it's like they would totally kill her. So it makes it feel possible, which removes her plot armor, at least in the eyes of the audience. It also raises the stakes in a way I thought was really thrilling and nerve-wracking. I am most definitely in the vast minority with this, but I really like Tatum's friend group a lot more than the friend group in 6. I don't know what it is about them, but they're kind of charming in a weird way. Lucas and Chloe especially stood out to me because I like their little freaky romance, and again, they're both just charming to me. I don't know why this is, it just is. Ben's whole brains and brawn thing makes him probably my favorite suspicious boyfriend character since, like, I don't know, Scream 2. The film's production design is actually great. It's a lot better than 4, 5, and 6. It's really like the little details in the film that really pulled everything together. For instance, Tatum has bags of chips in her room right next to a mood board thingy of Ben, which is her boyfriend, with photos of the two of them and such pinned on it, if that makes any sense. This shows that she has a penchant for snacking and that she obviously loves her boyfriend. Right off the bat, we get an idea of Tatum's character just by looking around her room. This is exactly what good production design is supposed to do. Everything is extraordinarily fall flavored. There are falling leaves and nude trees literally everywhere. All of the leaves are on the ground. Essentially, it's very fall flavored. Everything is very orange. The fall setting of the film only furthers my idea that this should have been released in fall instead of winter, 4 weeks away from spring. Who decided to release this on February 27th? All of the release dates for the Scream movies are always super inappropriate. Fucking Scream 6 takes place like 2 days before Halloween, and they released that shit in March. I really like the way shadows are used in scenes. Ghostface will be lurking in the film somewhere, and it's very scary because his shadow will appear on something, and it's like, oh, he's lurking, but the characters don't know it yet, right? It really enhances the suspense. It's very spooky, and it makes him seem a lot more supernatural than he actually is. See, but this is where it gets me. A lot of times in this film, people make decisions that simply would not be made in real life. There are things like Sydney trying to open her car's door, realizing it's locked, and simply leaving the car there. What the fuck? She's like, oh, my car's door is locked. I guess I'll just buy a new car. Who wrote this? There's also this small little fleeting moment that's actually a glaring writing issue that nobody talks about. Mark, who is Sydney's husband and Tatum's dad, decides to not flee Pine Grove when the killings start up there. He just says to Tatum, it's my job to stop whoever's doing this, and Tatum's like, and she just walks the fuck away. She has absolutely no issues whatsoever about her own father staying in the town where a serial killer is lurking, totally risking his life. She just walks away. She's like, okay, I have no issues with that. It's awful writing. Now that he's in all of our minds, let's just talk about Mark, man. He sucks. He's stoic, he has about 3 lines in the whole movie, and in the beginning he's kinda likable, but then as time goes on, you realize that because he's not Mark Kincaid, played by Patrick Dempsey, you could give a fuck about him. Sure, his relationship with Sydney is cute and all, but it doesn't really go much far beyond that. The kills here are great. And really bad. They are extremely goofy and very schlocky. I really do love crazy, gory kills like in Hard Eyes, but there's most definitely a line, and Scream 7 crosses it sometimes. Some of the kills in this movie feel super cartoonish. They feel like something straight out of Looney Tunes. They're very heavily digitally altered, like with CGI, and that results in them feeling super fake, like the blood looks orange and shit like that, and it's like, there's something off here. It's a lot like Final Destination 6. They also feel like something straight out of Scary Movie. That being said, these kills actually are some of my favorite in the entire franchise, and I really did have a blast watching them. They just were super hard to take seriously. But 5 and 6 had a lot of room in between the kills to breathe and develop the characters, and like I said before, I like Scream 7's new characters, and I'm gonna be one of the few people defending them, but I still think that they're very one-dimensional, if that makes any sense. I like the new characters, but they're not very deep. I think 5 and 6 did a very good job with making the characters, the side characters, likable, especially in 5. Not so much in 6. 6 is 50-50 with me, but with Scream 7, the pacing is just all over the place. Not only the writing, but also the way it's edited and assembled makes it feel like they had to shorten the movie by 40 minutes and suddenly removed all of the breathing room in the film, which is really important to have in a slasher. Scream 7 is like Halloween Kills in the way that it's basically just 2 hours of the killer inflicting indiscriminate, indomitable slaughtering on literally anybody he sees, and this is cool for a while, but you soon get to crave a real film, not a mindless movie. It's fun to watch, but it's really bad as a film. Scream 7 feels like Knives Out. In the bad way, in the really bad way. I love Knives Out, but that tone doesn't fit into Scream at all. The cinematography isn't actually as bad as I thought it would be. Sure, Scream 6 looks better, but Scream 7 doesn't really look all that bad either. I was super excited to hear that Marco Beltrami was gonna score Scream 7. He is literally my #1 favorite composer of all time, and his work on films 1 through 4 are so fucking good. Scream 7's score is good too, but it's definitely his weakest. It doesn't feel as real and as jarring and as sharp as the others, or Brian Tyler's work on 5 and 6. In the score, there's a lot of these little weird bells and chimes throughout it. They're actually super off-putting the first time, but then the second time you listen to it, it's like, it kind of blends in, you know what I mean? Alright, it's time to talk about the AI. The AI plot is smeared all over the movie. It serves no purpose whatsoever. It really felt like it was nothing beyond last-minute, damage-controlling, Hail Mary publicity stunts that left me with a sick taste in my mouth. Why did they think putting AI in a Scream movie was a good idea? What the fuck was Guy Busick thinking? Alright, so listen. I really want to talk about the third act, the killers, their reveal, and their motives, but I can't really do that in depth without spoiling the whole movie, so let me just say this. It sucks. It's really bad. I knew who one of the killers was immediately, and their motive literally makes no sense. Literally, it's entirely nonsensical. I could not decode it. When I saw Scream 7 again, it actually started to make a little bit of sense, but then I would think about something else that they said, and I would think, no, because that contradicts that, and it's like, what the hell are they talking about? I liked the performances during the third act, like the acting, but that's about it. Also, there's not a single knife wipe in the entire movie. I mean, what the fuck? Scream 6 had 3 knife wipes. 3 of them, I tell you. Why didn't they put a knife wipe in here? There's a scene right after one of the kills that would have been perfect, and they just didn't put it in. Also, we gotta talk politics for a second. This movie gives a really gross propaganda feel. It's the little things in the film, like Sydney hanging the rag at her home for some reason. It's like, why? Why is that here? Why is the toilet paper flying outside of your home? Anyways, it gives off a very America good, police good, patriotic vibe that I'm really not fucking with. I really don't like it primarily because that's not true normally. I mean, America good is simply a lie normally, like in a normal political climate, but especially it's most definitely not true in the middle of a cold civil war that's been raging for the last year. This kind of feels like I'm a dog and Scream 7 is my owner, and they're trying to give me a hot dog, but I know that there's a pill inside of it. I know they're trying to sneak something like a message in here. I can smell it. You know, I know that it's there. The fact that people were worried, genuinely worried, that a full balls to wall, ass to gas second American Civil War would break out in the form of insurgency or secession before Scream 7 could even release is not easy to forget. Literally, I saw someone comment on a Critical Overlord video, if a civil war doesn't break out, this should do pretty well at the box office. It's like, what the fuck? It just feels so fake. It feels like this film is spooning us alive of a calm, morally justifiable America. It's trying to oppress the people. Who's ready for Scream 8 to take place in Iran? Huh? New popcorn bucket? I really don't like what's happening to movies. I miss when they used to advance leftist politics, like how Star Wars was basically just a Vietnam War metaphor. I miss those kind of films. You know, back when they used to have actually good political metaphors, like 3 years ago. Now everything kind of just feels like a propaganda piece that's trying to, you know, everything kind of just feels like a pacifier being slipped into the wet mouth of the people. Any fucking way. Scream 7 isn't good. It's not a great film, but it's not the worst either. I did actually have a blast watching it, and it did have its moments, and I never thought I'd say this, but I think we just got our first bad Scream movie. It's not bad in the way that Scream 3 was bad, where it's bad in comparison to the other movies, but it's still a good movie by itself. No, Scream 7 is just objectively alright as a little slasher movie. It's like, but it's very bad as a Scream movie. I still had a lot of fun watching it because I really like Scream, and even bad Scream is still Scream. And again, it really grew on me with time and rewatches. I already have plans to see it for a third time, so maybe my third time I watch it, maybe my rating will go up to 4 stars. But right now, I'm gonna go ahead and slap you with a 3.5 stars. But I don't know. We'll see how I feel with time. Anyways, free Palestine, give our people back, down with the empire. Okay, bye.